Shion, as the name of the tyranny implies, controls the raging energy. She took the energy and put it in her own body to fight against Dagruel. Thanks to the ultimate skill Susanoo, she has been fighting a good battle against Dagruel, a mass of energy. However, that was about to end. Dagruel is a monster with 100 battles under his belt. He had not claimed to be a demon lord, and he was not so soft that he could do whatever he wanted to the newly awakened person. I see. She seems to be appropriating my power, doesn't she? I guess she's using my power, he said. Then, the countermeasure is easy. All he had to do was to end the game with the power that Shion could not control. I will do my best. Don't hate me even if you die. Dagruel declared. I hope so. Shion responded. Dagruel unleashes his localized destruction technique, an anti-personal technique that converges maximized energy shockwaves. Maelstrom Buster. Dagruel's high energy shines blue, and the wave spirals like a whirlpool. Riding the wave, Dagruel's huge frame takes the lead and approaches Shion. At first glance, it looks like a dropkick, but its hidden destructive power is energy that's truly catastrophe class. Even with her ultimate skill Susanoo, the king of tyranny, it is impossible to neutralize all of them. Dagruel tried to end the game with a power that was an order of magnitude different from Shion's. The difference in power was overwhelming, but the difference was not. An overwhelming difference in power is something that cannot be overcome by level. I am sorry, but you should know that what you have cultivated is powerless in front of me. Dagruel recognizes Shion. He did not lick her, and he liked her experience and her strength of mind. However, Dagruel knew well that there was no room for such feelings in a battle, and that the only result would be an overthrow by force. Shion fought well, but only so far. When faced with Dagruel's true spirit, she had no other choice but to face the irresistible end. For Dagruel, it was not a certainty but a reality that had to happen. However, Shion does not know about Dagruel's inner thoughts. In the first place, it does not matter what the enemy is thinking once the battle has begun. Even in the face of the oncoming Dagruel Polar Vortex Maelstrom Buster, Shion smiles fearlessly. Dagruel notices this and becomes suspicious. Has she given up in the face of death? No, that's not it. Shion looks like a challenger who has not given up the victory yet, and her expression shows her will to fight back. At a time when there was nothing she could do, but at that moment, a flash of light fell on Dagruel's brain. True chaotic fate. Shion's flame arrives late. Dagruel's eyes widened in astonishment. Yes, there was an intense pain in his brain and forehead that he had not felt in a long time. It was a pain that had been there for thousands of years, but that was not the only thing that startled Dagruel. He felt a solid response as if a maelstrom buster had exploded with the intention of killing Shion, and his respect for her. This was as expected, but Shion's response was unexpected. Shion threw away all her defenses and focused all his energy on the attack. That's ridiculous. Is she trying to die? Dagruel likes Shion. He was even attached to Shion to the extent that he did not want her to die if possible. Although they were enemies now, he had a thought that they might become friends when the war was over. Even if that was impossible, Dagruel had no intention of killing her. If Shion was as strong as him, there was a possibility that she could survive as long as she was on the run. And she did not give up her life to the end. Dagruel was willing to let her go, as long as she did not disturb him anymore. However, Shion died in a vain attempt to save his life. What? At that moment, Dagruel noticed something strange. He was distracted by the pain in his brain, but there was something else wrong. Incredibly, yes, unbelievably, but unrealistically, Dagruel was on his knees on the ground. He could not get up. What happened? Dagruel read his memory again. Shion did not defend. She had done her best to counterattack, perhaps realizing that she would not be able to defend herself completely. She slashed Hercules Deluxe from below to counter Dagruel's attack from above. Normally, the blade would never have reached Dagruel because it would have been repelled by the violence of the Maelstrom Buster. The difference in power was that great, but at the moment of intersection, Shion's blade disappeared as if in a haze. It was as if the blade had defied the laws of physics and struck Dagruel directly. No way. Guaranteed outcome. Did Shion perform causality, manipulation on me? Dagruel's understanding was correct. Shion had already had the experience of reaching Dagruel with her blade on several occasions. Although she had not been able to inflict much damage, she has certainly been able to hit him. So for Shion, it was a simple matter to reproduce the phenomenon. The powers of ultimate skill Susanoo are thought acceleration, universal perception, demon lord hockey, guaranteed outcome, infinite regeneration, behavioral alteration, emptiness offsetting, illusion destruction, space-time manipulation, multidimensional barrier, are all outstandingly diverse and useful. Among them, guaranteed outcome and illusion destruction are the most dangerous ones. And if they are combined, there is a possibility that they can kill Rimuru as seal ward. Since Shion made full use of these powers, it is natural that Shion's true chaotic fate gave Dagruel a severe blow. However, Shion himself would not be safe. Shion was also directly hit by Dagruel's chaotic fate, and how Shion's ultra-speed regeneration, or even infinite regeneration, which is more than even divine speed regeneration, she should have been killed instantly. But that is only if Shion was alone. Rebirth. Lumina's beautiful voice echoes through the battlefield. The voice of Luminus echoes on the battlefield to save Shion by the hand of God, before the violence of Dagruel shatters his soul. Shion, who was destined to die, is rescued from the brink of death by Demon Lord Luminous' ultimate skill, lustful King Asmodus. Shion stands proudly against Dagruel, who kneels on the ground. The victory was clear for all to see. Aha. Thank you for saving my life, Luminous-sama. You dummy, what were you going to do if I couldn't be saved? In that case, Shion would have died. Shion's strategy had worked, as she had hoped that Luminous would surely be able to save her. Of course, I believed that Luminous-sama would do something about it. Hearing this, Luminous let out a big sigh of exasperation. She shakes her head and smiles. Don't call me Sama. You can call me Luminous. Are you dissatisfied? No, Luminous, from this day on you are my friend. Very straightforwardly, Shion smiled and showed her goodwill. You can think whatever you like. Luminous responded with a bright red cheek, as if embarrassed. Then, she turns away from her with its Sunsen. Vildor, who was watching the battle, also saw Luminous talking with Shion. He guessed that this was its Sundeer, but he had enough sense not to say anything about it. For now, he was more concerned about joining in the conversation and getting out of the botch. Kawawa. That was really brilliant, Shion. Vildor laughs with amusement. Vildor was convinced that they had mingled naturally. But he was naive. The evil lizard is still here. Luminous gave him a cold stare. The warm look she had given Shion was replaced by a gaze so cold that even the flames seemed to freeze. Vildor's hardcore was almost broken by Luminous' cold attitude. He felt like running away, but he held back and pretended to be unconcerned. Of course. I was watching over you because I was worried about you. Really? Vildor emphasized. Shion, you have exceeded my expectations. Well done. I am impressed. While praising Shion in this way, Vildor tries to somehow warm up the cool air. Enough is enough, Luminous thought. Actually, she was not that angry. In fact, she was grateful for the help. However, she hesitated to express her gratitude. She felt that Vildor might take advantage of her, and moreover, Luminous was not able to be honest with Vildor. For this reason, Luminous decided to end the discussion at this point. Well, it would be too early to let up. Even though they defeated the enemy General Dagruel, the war is still going on. They were not ready to relax yet. And just like that, Luminous' fears came true. The defeat of Dagruel has affected morale, and the atmosphere on the battlefield has become harsh on the Titans. The fall of the generals has buoyed the Titans. That is fatal on the battlefield. Lassard is also upset, and his sword becomes dull. As a result, Albert is beginning to overwhelm them. Fan also clucked his tongue and tried to rush to the rescue, but Ultima did not allow him to do so. She is not the kind of person who would overlook the enemy's weakness, so she attacked him at the right moment. Adalman was no different. In return, he and Ultima worked in close cooperation and hunted down Fen. Victory seemed imminent, but then, a loud laugh broke out on the battlefield. The owner of that spine-chillingly powerful laugh was Dagruel, whom Shion had just defeated. Ha 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 ha. No way, huh? I never thought I would be made to kneel on the ground. I underestimated you, Shion. I apologize. Saying this, Dagruel stands up nonchalantly. Shion felt that the response was real. She had succeeded in reducing Dagruel's energy significantly, although she had not inflicted any serious wounds. Yet, Dagruel did not seem to respond. No need to apologize. I am ashamed that I thought I had beaten you. Haha. Don't be modest. No one has ever been able to make me bleed since Feldenava. You should be proud, Shion. True to his words, blood still trickled down from Dagruel's brain to his forehead. And, due to Shion's vicious power, it showed no sign of recovery. Nevertheless, Dagruel's haki was gaining momentum. An eerie feeling was hanging over the battlefield centering on Dagruel. Sensing this, Shion and Luminous braced themselves. But here, there was one who rejoiced. It was Vildor, of all people. Kukuku, you are Dagruel, after all. That's the man who used to be my rival. With these words, Vildor walked up to Dagruel and said, Shion, you may rest there. And then, Vildor and Dagruel faced each other. After all, I am your opponent, am I not? Yes, I am. If you were going to come out, we should have done this on our own. Dagruel's goal is Luminous, but if Vildor interferes with that goal, the priorities change. The importance of the two was very different. For Dagruel, for lack of a better term, this is no time to be dealing with wood chips. You should return to your true self so that you will not regret it. Let's do our best to settle our differences. Vildor said in a loud voice. Dagruel nodded in agreement. Very well. Let's see who's better, the dragon or the giant. Both of them glared at each other happily. Today is the day I'll make you understand that I'm superior. I won't hold back. Baldor, you too. Both men shouted at the same time. They transform into their real forms at the same time. Baldor changed into dragon mode. Dagruel summons his brothers. Glassard, Fen, come. Now is the time to show our power. The brothers answer his call. Glassard bows to Albert and joins Dagruel. Fen kicked Adalman, who was clinging to him, and punched Ultina, who had taken him by surprise, and said, "Damn, they're a bunch of pussies. I'll deal with them later," and returned to Dagruel. And so the three brothers were all together. Open the door, Ashur. By Dagruel's order, the ancient seal is broken. The three brothers Dagruel, Glassard, and Fen are enveloped in a dazzling light. It is the return of the mythical god of destruction. A three-faced, six-armed titanic god with unimaginable energy is revealed. Thus, Dagruel's preparations were complete. Quahahaha. Dagruel, is it your true nature? Yes, it is. Be prepared, Baldor, for I am not so kind now. The heavens are crying and the earth is trembling. A mythical battle is about to begin between those who possess supernatural powers that could destroy the world. Shion and her team realized at first sight that the giant god was not a formidable being. The overwhelming hockey release from Dagruel, which had merged with its brothers, was truly worthy of being called a god. The atmosphere vibrated and thunder roared. It was as if the heavens were frightened by the might of Dagruel. Shan and the others were so overwhelmed by the strange atmosphere that they could not speak. Luminus barely managed to speak her mind. What a monster. I can't handle it. This was the impression that all the people who had seen him must have had. There was no point in being patient. If they were going to die a dog's death, it was better to run away with a chance of survival. However, because Baldor was facing such a giant god, the expressions on the faces of Shion and Luminus were more relaxed. No, it is a sign of resignation. They knew that their fate would be over once Baldor was defeated. In other words, it was as if they had left everything to Baldor. It was easy now, and they were less fearful. Shion and Luminus decided to watch the game as if they were spectators. Baldor shouts to Shion and the others. Shion, when the battle begins, defend yourselves with all your might. With your power, you will be able to unite everyone's strength to your advantage. Baldor's voice became a telepathy net that reached the entire battlefield. Adalman, Albert, and the scattered blood-sucking vampires will all cooperate with Shion. If one of us fails to do our part, we will all be caught in the middle of this and be obliterated. Quahahaha. Dagruel does not stop there either. Like Baldor, he is giving priority to the safety of his men. Basara, do you understand the situation? Secure the safety of your men as soon as possible. Basara was now engaged in a heated battle against Luis and Gunther. The mood was really good, but the king's order was the only way to comply with it. I'll wait a little longer to settle the matter. But if Dagruel's summit defeats Baldor, the aftermath will be a disaster for you. As soon as Basara said these words, he called together the 5 warrior generals under his command, and started to rebuild his forces. Luis and Gunther had no objection. They were very strong, weren't they? Well, it's the famous forearmed. He's not ready yet. I guess he hasn't. I wasn't serious either, but let's see who has more tricks up their sleeve. Luis did not see the point in winning or losing in the field. He was saving his strength to be of use to Luminus when the generals would finally decide who would win. However, this is no longer necessary. They did not expect that Baldor, their old enemy, would fight on their behalf, but now there was no room for them to intervene. It was annoying that Baldor was giving them such high-handed instructions, but since Luminus was in favor of this situation, Luis and Gunther had no objection to it. Baldor took charge of the situation as if it were a matter of course, and gave orders as if they were decisions. The last person he called out was the fainting sons of Dagruel. Dagur, Ryer, Dabur, don't sleep. The 3 brothers jumped out of bed after being hit by a loud thought. Baldor confirms this and continues. Watch what is about to happen. We are about to defeat your father. Baldor finished gravely.